What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Sportskeeda MMA News. Daniel Cormier believes Khabib Nurmagomedov will be enticed to return if Charles Oliveira beats his protege. Kamaru Usman vs. Leon Edwards 2 finally has a date. Brendan Schaub defends Tony Kelley for his controversial comments. Dustin Poirier weighs in on the debate between himself and Michael Chandler. And is Tony Ferguson going to an Ivy League school? All this and more on today's edition of Sportskeeda MMA News. If you see any of your favorite fighters mentioned in today's video, make sure to blast that like button. Without further delay, let's get going. Former UFC champ and pay-per-view commentator Daniel Cormier recently teased a possible Khabib Nurmagomedov comeback. There hasn't been a sighting of the Eagle in the octagon since his successful defense of the lightweight title at UFC 254 in October of 2020. However, his teammate and best buddy DC thinks Khabib won't be able to pass up the opportunity to avenge his longtime protege if DuBronx ends up adding Islam Makhachev to his list of victims. Speaking with co-host Ryan Clark on a recent episode of ESPN's DC and RC show, this is what Cormier had to say. Man, it'll be nice to see him, Charles Oliveira, fight Khabib, right? Many people said that. It'll be nice to know. What better way to try to draw him back in than by having Oliveira beat his friend, training partner, and longtime. It's another way to try to get him in because obviously the money, Dana's throwing so much money at Khabib to try to get him back, and that hasn't been enough. But what if defending his friend's honor is enough? If Islam doesn't get the job done? Since his retirement, Khabib has maintained that his fighting days are over. No amount of luxurious steak dinners and big money promises has helped Dana White convince the Dagestani to reconsider either. According to Khabib, he promised his mom he's leaving the sport, and it's a promise he intends to honor. However, Cormier might deserve the benefit of the doubt as he's one of the few people who understands Khabib's behavior. Do you think Khabib will break his word to his beloved mom to defend his friend's honor? Leave a comment down below and you might be featured in tomorrow's video. After waiting for what felt like an eternity to get another shot at Kamaru Usman, it appears that it's finally Leon Edwards' turn to challenge for the welterweight crown. MMA journalist Ariel Helwani reported that the highly anticipated rematch between Usman and Edwards is apparently the matchup being eyed as the headliner for the upcoming UFC 278 pay-per-view. The fight card is expected to take place on August 20th in Salt Lake City, Utah. Helwani dropped some subtle hints about the upcoming event on Twitter, and while nothing is set in stone for the time being, this piece of info came from the man who got banned from the UFC for reporting something that turned out to be true. Since his 2015 loss to Usman, Edwards has been on a warpath with 9 straight wins and 1 no contest. Rocky may not be the most exciting fighter to watch, but he has undoubtedly separated himself from the rest of the pack. Usman, meanwhile, hasn't been shy about his intentions to cross over into the boxing ring for a future fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez. However, Canelo's recent loss against Dimitri Bivol, the same guy that Usman's manager dismissed for having a small following on Instagram, should be a reminder that even the great ones could lose at any given night. Is Leon Edwards primed to pull off the upset against the Nigerian Nightmare? Andrea Lee's coach and partner Tony Kelley found himself at the center of negative attention during last Saturday's UFC event. For those who don't know, Kelley was accused of being racist for the comments he made during the broadcast of UFC Fight Night Blachowicz vs. Rakic. After the first round of the flyweight bout between Andrea Lee and Viviane Araujo, KGB complained to her corner about an alleged eye poke. At that point, a fired-up Kelley responded by saying, "That's what they're gonna do. They're dirty Brazilians. They're gonna cheat like that. But guess what? We came here to somebody up and we oblige. You understand? We have better everything than her." As far as Brendan Schaub is concerned, however, coaches should not have to worry about cancel culture while giving advice to fighters. During an episode of The Schaub Show, here's what the former UFC heavyweight had to say. "I'm sure he could have said it in other ways, but he shouldn't have to censor himself inside the octagon. If this becomes a thing, the UFC should not mic up that octagon or play it after the fact. Edit it out and play it, because these guys shouldn't be worried about, man, if I say something that people don't like, I'm gonna get criticism, because then the coaches are going to censor themselves." Kelley has since denied that his comments were racist through a statement on Twitter. He also dismissed criticism hurled at him as a classic case of cancel culture and people merely being too sensitive. Now, here are some important questions in light of this incident. Does Brendan Schaub have a point? Are fighters doomed to receive ineffective tactical advice because their coaches can no longer be low-key racist during broadcasts? Or do Schaub and Kelley just need to work on becoming better people? Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler are entangled in the most passive-aggressive rivalry in combat sports today. While both men insist they harbor no ill feelings towards the other, Poirier and Chandler have been trading subtle digs in their recent interviews. During his recent appearance on the MMA Hour, Iron Mike was asked who he wants to fight following his jaw-dropping knockout of Tony Ferguson. Chandler mentioned Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Justin Gaethje, and Charles Oliveira, notably omitting Poirier from his list. According to Chandler, he honestly forgot about Poirier, but then he added that it doesn't matter as he's uninterested in fighting the Diamond, who he doesn't perceive as being a big draw anyway. In his own MMA Hour interview, Poirier was asked for a response to Chandler's comments. Here's what the two-time lightweight title challenger had to say. Look at the numbers. We sell 6-something, what they sell? Over 400? I mean, who's a draw? I don't know. I don't play that because I don't really care. But don't say stuff that you can find out, the numbers, and see who's watching more. He's never beaten anybody coming off a win in the UFC area. He's been dropped in his last 3 fights. He's never beat somebody coming off a win, Dustin Poirier or Michael Chandler? Who do you think is the bigger draw? While you're still here, subscribe to Sportskeeda and hit that bell. After spending over a decade in the sport, you can call Tony Ferguson a lot of things. Former interim UFC lightweight champion, future legend, action fighter, daredevil, mad genius, and many more. But I bet Ivy Leaguer didn't cross your mind. Al Kakui recently revealed that he intends to go back to school to earn a degree in business as he prepares for his post-retirement life. Appearing on a recent episode of the MMA Hour, the lightweight superstar was in a reflective mood as he discussed his journey with Ariel Helwani. At one point, Ferguson revealed what he intends to do next following his devastating KO loss against Michael Chandler. Here's what he had to say. These 2 months I'm gonna go within the next week or two. I'm gonna narrow it down and find a camp. I'm gonna look for a strength and conditioning coach. I'm also gonna work harder on my sponsors and make sure the companies have the equity that I have and make sure that they stay afloat. I want to go back to school and get my degree. I have a choice between Stanford and Harvard to get my business degree. Nonetheless, Ferguson is adamant that he's not quite done yet. The 38-year-old is currently on a 4-fight skid, but remains to be a viable matchup for some of the biggest names in the division. Who should Tony fight next? But more importantly, should he go for Harvard or Stanford? That about does it for Sportskeeda MMA News. Here are some of the best comments from today. McGregor must be laid to rest because now he'll only be a shadow of the man he was. There's a difference between other jiu-jitsu guys and Oliveira. Islam fought nobody till now. First he needs to prove himself against of guys whom Oliveira already defeated. Khabib Nurmagomedov will always be the GOAT. No doubt about that. If he ever comes back, he would destroy Charles Du Bronx Oliveira just like he did every opponent. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and share. Your comments could be featured in the next Sportskeeda MMA news video. We always deliver daily content, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on anything going on in the MMA world. For updates, quotes, and exclusive interviews from all your favorite fighters, follow Sportskeeda MMA on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching.